This debate today, it's about who gets to be an American. What opinions do we have to be counted as Americans? This is what this debate is about, Madam Speaker. There is this idea that you are a suspect if you are an immigrant, or if you are from certain parts of the world, or a certain skin tone, or a Muslim. It is no accident that members of the Republican Party accused the first Black president, Barack Obama.
A resolution has been introduced in the U.S. House of Representatives to formally censure Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. The resolution accuses her of acting as a foreign agent for Somalia and making statements that allegedly violate her oath of office. At the center of the controversy are remarks Omar reportedly made during a January 2024 event in Minneapolis, where she allegedly claimed the U.S. government would follow the direction of Somali Americans and that she would
Georgia seek recognition.
Mr. Speaker, pursuant to Clause 2A.1 of Rule 9, I seek recognition to give notice of my intent to raise a question of the privileges of the House. The form of the resolution is as follows.
Recognized.
Censuring Representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota. Whereas elected members of Congress take an oath to bear true faith and allegiance to the United States without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. Whereas Representative Ilhan Omar took an oath of allegiance to the United States upon becoming a citizen, declaring, "I absolutely and entirely renounce and abjure all allegiance and fidelity to any foreign prince, potentate, state, or sovereignty, of whom or which I have heretofore been a subject or citizen." Whereas on January 27, 2024, Representative Omar gave remarks at an event in Minneapolis in which she made treasonous statements. Whereas Representative Omar said she has spoken to many Somalians who asked her to intercede for the Somali government by pressuring the United States government into certain actions. Whereas Representative Omar assured the Somalians she spoke to, the U.S. government will only do what Somalians in the U.S. tell them to do. They will do what we want and nothing else. They must follow our orders, and that is how we will safeguard the interest of Somalia. Whereas Representative Omar continued, "For as long as I am in U.S. Congress, Somalia will never be in danger. Its waters will not be stolen by Ethiopia or others. Sleep in comfort knowing I am here to protect the interest of Somalia from inside the U.S. system." Whereas George Washington warned in his farewell address of 1796 to guard against the impostures of pretended patriotism, and further declared citizens by birth or choice of a common country, that country has a right to concentrate your affections. The name of American, which belongs to you in your national capacity, must always exalt the just pride of patriotism more than any appellation derived from local discriminations. Whereas these statements by Representative Omar clearly violate the oath she took as an elected member of Congress to defend and protect the United States Constitution. Whereas Representative Omar has exhibited the treasonous tendencies George Washington warned about, and her actions must be condemned by all members of Congress who adhere to the oath they took upon assuming office. And whereas by openly admitting her efforts to advance Somalia's interest using her position as a United States representative, Representative Omar has revealed herself to be a foreign agent acting on behalf of a foreign government. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota be censured. Representative Ilhan Omar forthwith present herself in the well of the House of Representatives for the pronouncement of censure. Representative Ilhan Omar be censured with the public reading of this resolution by the Speaker, and Representative Ilhan Omar be and is hereby removed from the Committee of the Budget and the Committee on Education and the Workforce.
Breaking news out of Capitol Hill as a formal resolution has been introduced in the U.S. House of Representatives to censure Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, a Democrat from Minnesota. The resolution accuses her of violating her oath of office by allegedly promoting the interests of a foreign government, specifically Somalia, while serving in the United States Congress. It further accuses her of acting as a foreign agent and making what are described as treasonous statements. This resolution stems from remarks she reportedly made during a public event in Minneapolis on January 27, 2024. According to the resolution, Congresswoman Omar stated that she had spoken with members of the Somali community who asked her to pressure the United States government to act in Somalia's favor. She allegedly responded by assuring them that the U.S. government would only do what Somali Americans tell them to do, and nothing else. She is quoted as saying, "They will do what we want and nothing else. They must follow our orders, and that is how we will safeguard the interest of Somalia." She also reportedly declared that, as long as she remains a member of the U.S. Congress, Somalia will never be in danger. She told the crowd that Somalia's waters would not be taken by Ethiopia or any other country, and that people could sleep in comfort knowing that she was there to protect Somalia's interests from inside the U.S. system. These statements have ignited a political firestorm, with critics arguing that this represents a clear breach of her constitutional responsibilities as a U.S. representative. The resolution points to the oath that every member of Congress takes to bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. By publicly committing to defend the interests of Somalia over the United States, the resolution claims that Omar has broken that oath. To reinforce this point, the resolution cites George Washington's 1796 farewell address, in which he warned future generations about the dangers of divided loyalty and the impostures of pretended patriotism. Washington reminded Americans that whether they were citizens by birth or by choice, their loyalty should lie with the United States above all else. The authors of the resolution are using that historical warning to argue that Representative Omar has demonstrated the exact kind of conduct Washington cautioned against. They claim that her behavior not only undermines the credibility of Congress, but also poses a potential threat to national security. By presenting herself as someone willing to use her official capacity to promote a foreign country's agenda, the resolution argues that Omar has revealed herself to be a foreign agent, someone using her role within the U.S. government to carry out the interests of another nation. As a result, the resolution calls for immediate disciplinary action. It proposes that Representative Omar be formally censured by the House of Representatives and be required to appear in the well of the House to hear the resolution publicly read. In addition to the censure, the resolution demands that she be removed from her assignments on the House Budget Committee and the Committee on Education and the Workforce. This is a serious escalation and has already begun to generate intense debate across political lines. Supporters of the resolution argue that defending the integrity of public office and national loyalty must take precedence over political affiliation. They say this isn't about party politics. It's about ensuring that elected officials serve the interests of the American people first and foremost. On the other hand, critics of the resolution are calling it politically motivated. Some believe it's an attempt to silence a vocal critic of U.S. foreign policy. Others view it as an exaggerated response or even a targeted campaign against a minority representative known for speaking out on issues related to immigration, international relations, and systemic inequality. The situation is developing quickly, and it raises broader questions about the boundaries of political speech, representation, and loyalty in a globalized world. What does it mean for an elected official with dual heritage or immigrant background to advocate for communities abroad? Where is the line between representation and foreign allegiance? And how should Congress respond when those lines appear to blur? This resolution may or may not pass, but its introduction marks a significant moment in the ongoing conversation about patriotism, accountability, and the limits of influence within American politics. Whether it's ultimately viewed as a necessary defense of national interest or as a politically charged overreach, one thing is clear: this issue is not going away anytime soon. Let me know what you think in the comments. Should Representative Omar be censured for these remarks? Or is this just another example of politics being used as a weapon?